Welcome back to the Exodus Collective. For those of you thinking about moving, sometimes it can feel a lot of pressure to pick the perfect destination with the idea that everything has to work. But today on the line, I have a lady who has meandered her way around the world, and I really want to share her story with you because the way in which she's been able to identify where to go, how to be in these places, and what living an authentic life is going to look like really is inspiring. So I want to introduce you to Rukiya. How are you doing, Rukiya? Have I pronounced your name correctly? Apologies if I haven't.
It's close, Rukiya.
Rukiya, where,
Yeah.
where in the world are you today?
Right now we are in Accra, Ghana.
Okay, and for how long have you been there? Because this isn't the first destination that you moved to, is it?
No, we've been here since December.
Okay.
Of last, yeah.
Right. And so what led you to pick Ghana as the place to be with yourself and your children?
I came here for a visit in November, and it was supposed to be I think it was supposed to be a 10-day visit, and it turned into like a 3-week visit. So, I really loved it. And I just felt so at home, not that we were living in Tanzania before this. So I felt at home there in a way, but it was nothing like here. So that was, yeah. So I extended the stay here and decided before I left that I wanted to move here with the kids, for sure.
Interesting. And so when you went to Ghana for the 10-day trip, did you already know that you weren't happy with Tanzania? Were you scouting out other destinations?
I was, yeah. I knew I was ready to leave Tanzania. I already knew that. I didn't know. I had no idea as to where. I wasn't in like a rush. So, I've moved so many times. I was like, it'll come to me, wherever we're supposed to be. And that's what happened. Yeah, I didn't go to on that visit to Ghana with the intention of moving. I've had people tell me that, when you go, you're gonna love it. You're not gonna want to leave. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, But that's exactly what happened. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Interesting. And so what I want to know is like for many people watching, they're thinking about moving for the first time. And they're like, it's so big, it's so intense, I'm going to be giving everything up. But for you, as someone who's moved multiple times, what does it feel like when you know this place isn't it? I'm ready to go somewhere else. What does it feel like? And how do you know that?
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a really good question. So I feel like, okay, so how do you know when a place is not for you? What I have learned is that you have to listen to you have to know, first of all, you have to know how to listen to yourself. You have to be in tune with yourself, and you also have to be in tune with the environment around you. Because for me, I tell people it's almost like a place tells me when it's time to go. You know what I mean? It's almost like when I don't know how to say it without, I don't want to say when things start going wrong, because you shouldn't just leave when things are going wrong. But for me, it's just a feeling. Like when we were in Bali, and I have been in and out of Bali for years. I had a business there, but I just started feeling like you can feel it. You can just, I can't explain it. I can't explain it. It's just a feeling that I just know when things kind of start going wrong, and you kind of like, okay, start having that thought in your mind, like maybe this isn't the place for me, and maybe been through this cycle a couple of times, and it's like, man, you're thinking like maybe this isn't the place for me, and then you're like, you push it to the side, you keep going for another couple of months or another year, and then it comes back like, maybe this isn't the place for me, and then when that happens, and that one time, and you have that thought, and it's like, maybe this isn't the place for me, and you're just seeing all the signs around you that are agreeing with you, that are confirming that. For me, that's when it's time to go.
Interesting. I don't know, I'm probably going to take it in the wrong direction, but as you're saying it, it feels like when a relationship isn't working, like you kind of know that.
Yeah. Well, you have a relationship with these places, of course. Yeah. So it's like, when something isn't feeling right, and you're not, you haven't been happy for a while, and, and those kind of feelings. Yeah, very similar to that.
Right.
You do have a relationship with every place that you're at, with the land, with the people, with, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the first time that that happened, or even along the way, how do you deal with that? Do you get resistance, or are you now so free flowing that you're like, whatever, it's cool, I'm just going to pack up and go because I know I'm going to
No.
be fine? Or is there like,
Yeah, there was a lot of resistance. You know, we were in Tanzania for about 4 years. So, but I knew for a while that it was probably time for us to go, but, I hung in there and I was like, oh, I don't know, because I didn't know where else we were going to go to. I didn't know that I want to leave Africa altogether and go back to Southeast Asia, or not. So I just kind of hung in there until, the ancestors or the spirit, whatever you want to call it, talked to me when I came to Ghana, and I knew immediately. But I had known that Tanzania was time for us to go. But I don't want to say there was resistance so much as I was just trying to be more patient this time, as opposed to in the past where I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what time it is. It's time to go. We out, So this time I wanted to be a bit more patient and to make sure we made the right decisions. So
yeah. And what's nice is that that patience seems to have been rewarded with a definite yes. Like you were patient, you went to be somewhere else, and this is the next step.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, like, for you, what are the sort of practices, or what do you think the journey that you've been on is that enables you to be in a place where you can be so clear, so open to reading the situation, the feeling, the calling? Well, that's a small question, a really easy question to answer, but what do you? I'm joking, it's a big one.
No, I'm thinking, like how am I able to understand, like to know what to?
Yeah. Have you always been that way, to just like to be able to feel into a situation and know like, okay, now's the time to move, or this, like, have you always had a strong sense of intuition, or is it something that you've?
Yeah, I kind of have. Yeah, I'm a Pisces, and so I think that's also part of it. I'm just, very observant of my surroundings, and I learned when the first time I went abroad back in 2006 is when I first went by myself as an adult, and I taught English in Jakarta, Indonesia. And I kind of learned, no, not kind of, I absolutely learned then that the only way I was really going to survive is through totally and completely relying on my intuition. Oh my God, because there are a lot of times when you're not speaking the same language. I didn't know, back at that time, most people didn't speak English in Jakarta. So when you're teaching English, you're not there to go there. You're there to teach. So they're not trying to teach you languages. So they're just dropping you in the middle of the city and you got to figure it out, So I learned then that, when I'm talking to somebody, how, to read the energy as far as how do I feel when I'm dealing with this person and what am I feeling, because that's how you read the energy of a situation, right? It's not about how you feel about that person. How do you feel when you interact with them?
Yeah.
Right. And that will tell you everything you need to know, and so, but you have to have the confidence to be able to trust yourself in that. You can't second guess it because it's not going to work. So I was able to slowly cultivate that, I think, during that first time abroad. And it's, so that's kind of where it started.
Right.
It's me being in a situation where I didn't really have another choice.
Yeah. For sure. And I also think from my experiences, there's nothing like being overseas with everything that you're used to taken away to be presented with nothing but yourself. And sometimes that can be good, right? And sometimes that can be hella challenging.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not always easy.
No. So what I love is that you are on this journey with your children. How old are your kids?
My son just turned 11 and my daughter will be 13 in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old were they when you first set off on this journey, and where did you go to? Because Jakarta, you said you did that on your own, but with them, where did you start?
Yeah, We started in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Okay.
So that was when my son was about 6 months old and my daughter was about 2.
Wow.
And then from there to Puerto Rico. Yeah. And so that's where it started.
Interesting. And from your perspective, I think I know the answer to this, but is it easier traveling with like really young kids or kids that are older? Or how would you describe the difference for families who are thinking about
it's I mean, of course it's easier now because I mean it's just they're older and they're like more help, and from a logical standpoint, like they can carry more stuff, like, you know, like I don't know. But like but they're different challenges though, because now they're able to, like, they have their own opinions about things. And you know, luckily my children are adventurous, so they're always, you know, they're pretty much always down to go like wherever I'm trying to go to. When they were little, it was easy in a sense when they were like babies, because you know they couldn't walk. You know, you just kind of, you know, you hold your baby through the, you know, through the flight, and that's it, and then, you know, it's over. But like it depends, different ages, different stages. I think the hardest stage to travel at was when they were toddlers and they didn't understand that they needed to sit the entire time for the flight, and that just the whole airport protocol kind of thing, they didn't really understand. So that was probably the most difficult time, when they were like from ages like, I would say like 2 or 3 to like 5 maybe was like the most difficult.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think 5 is the magic age where it just becomes manageable. I remember like my kids being 2 and literally doing laps of the plane because they would not sit, like a 10-hour flight just going round and round and round. Can make you feasible to live. And then when you're there, like they're little sponges, aren't they? So I think you're right. Each age comes with its own opportunity and challenge as well. Yeah. And so tell me more about the work that you do with other people who are looking to move, because you're not just about like being on your own journey. You have a YouTube channel, you do consultations. So tell me more about how you weave everything together.
When I started this journey, there was no Facebook. This is telling, but like it was just MySpace. So, you know, back at that time when I first left, I was just on MySpace, you know, trying to find other Black people who were in Asia. It wasn't even about being in Indonesia at that time. I'm like, is there anybody in Asia? Like, at that time, everybody was in South Korea, you know? And so ever since then, once I saw how hard it was for me to find somebody, I just been trying to help people, you know, who want to do the same thing, you know, and that's it. And so as time has gone on, things have gotten a bit easier, where now there's Facebook, and, you know, YouTube was a bit more popular now and all of that. So I've decided to start a YouTube channel, Melanin Migration. It started with a book, actually, and a workbook. So that I created for people leaving their home countries for the first time and traveling abroad. So that's how it started. And after that, you know, I would get so many questions and people asking for consultations. It really wasn't even about me so much offering them. People, that's what they wanted. So I started doing the consultations when I got to Tanzania, because that was the country that had the most interest at the time. So yeah, I started doing consultations there. I still do them, you know, so lots of people, you know, countries are opening back up. And so people are, you know, they're starting to get, you know, a little bit more traction again, like they were before the consultation sessions. So yeah, it's good. Yeah. So my goal is to just help people, you know, to answer whatever questions they have as far as leaving where, you know, their country, whether it's the UK, whether it's the United States, whether it's wherever it's at, you know. And my target audience obviously is Black and brown people, you know, trying to leave. It doesn't need to be to the continent, anywhere, just anywhere.
Yeah.
No, everybody has a place, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's so important for folks like us to show that it is possible, that it doesn't necessarily have to only come with a certain tax bracket. If you're intentioned on moving and you kind of know your purpose, like absolutely it can be done. Yeah. And so what would you say is like the most commonly asked question or the biggest challenge that people come to you with when they're looking to move for the first time?
The biggest challenge usually is, so there's a few. One of the most common concerns I have is people, it's, what do I say? It's fear, usually fear around leaving their families.
Right.
United States, you know, usually that's what it is. So, and then how to deal with that and how to tell family members and how to deal with the negativity that comes from, you know, other family members about their decision to leave and all of that. So that's usually one of the biggest questions I get.
Do you know what? I think that is an episode in itself. The negativity that can come with the decision to move abroad. There's some, I've had conversations with people too, and there's some platforms where literally the hardest thing in moving is dealing with people feeling like you're abandoning them, like you feel like you're better than them, like you're being irresponsible. And I think so much of it has some sort of like post-traumatic slave syndrome. Like you're the one choosing to leave the plantation, you know, like what you're doing is dangerous. But I think understanding that reaction isn't necessarily about you, but it's about someone else's fears can be a really good way to put that in the corner. Yeah. Did you have to deal with that at all with your family or your network?
Not really. No, because I started traveling, you know, my dad worked and retired from US Airways.
Okay.
So we flew for free most of my life. Like, you know, we have been, you know, traveling about anyways. We would go camping, you know, all the time, like, you know, as a family and stuff growing up. So, you know, they had some questions, but it wasn't like a huge, you know, I didn't get a lot of negative feedback from my family.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Do they come out and visit you often?
Sometimes. I think my mom and my sister came when I was in Jakarta. One of my sisters just came she came to Tanzania, and then they'll be coming here too soon. So yeah.
Awesome. And as having lived in so many destinations, what is it about Ghana? What's the difference? What's the thing that makes you just like, this is my place?
But Ghana, it just feels like home. It just I have a relationship with, even though sometimes it's hard for me to see it because I'm in the middle of the city right now, but I'm looking to move out. This is a temporary housing situation. But when I'm out in the nature parts of Ghana, where there's more nature and that kind of thing, I just feel so connected. Like I can't even explain it. It's like there's no interference between me and spirit. It's just like I can hear it just downloads like immediate, like back to back to back. It's like very, very clear. And it was not like that as connected as I felt to like Bali and Thailand. Also, it just wasn't quite this way, you know. It's just a connection that I really can't explain, you know.
Yeah. Even though you can't explain it, I think it really highlights the importance of like knowing yourself and what it feels like to be in flow, so that when you are presented with it, or when you're not, you're in Ghana, you're close, but Accra isn't quite it. You know that you need to go more towards nature. Like that's clearly the path that you need to go on.
Right.
Yeah. And so is there any way that you can tell me? There's a delay.
Well, no, I was just going to say that it's important for people to know too that like everybody's place is different. So just because I feel this way about Ghana doesn't mean that somebody else who comes here, they're going to come here and be like, Rukiya is crazy. Like, what is she talking about? You know, but like in their place might be, I don't know, might be Ireland. I don't know. But like everybody has their place, and you just have to really sit down with yourself and feel like, where are you being called to? Because I was being called to Ghana for years before I actually came here, you know?
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah. I think it has a lot to just having the bravery to do you in whatever form that looks like for you. Is it going to be a city? Is it going to be the countryside? Is it going to be a boat? Like it doesn't really matter as long as
exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I really hope people check out your YouTube channel, your Instagram, because I think like your journey is really, really inspiring. But just before we go, is there like any key pieces of advice that you would give to folks who are kind of feeling called to move, but not quite sure whether it's for them? Like what sort of tips, strategies might you be able to offer?
You're feeling called to move? I say, if you can, I would say start with booking a ticket for just a vacation, for make it a trip, you know, just to see what it's like. And then that's when you'll really know, you know, you don't have to like do how a lot of people do, including myself, and just move somewhere. Because I've done that. I've just up and moved to different places, but like, that's not for everybody. You know, this was the first time coming to Ghana is when I visited first. And that was really important. And I highly suggest that people do that. If you feel in called to a place somewhere that you've been thinking about for years, and every time you see a photo, you just have a feeling inside of you, you know, or you see a video, you find yourself looking things up about a certain place, go check it out. Go visit, you know, for a week if you can, you know, 4 days, and see how you feel. And then start making decisions. Are you happier there than you are where you left? And then maybe that's a sign, you know?
Yeah, no, that's really good advice. I think much better than like start selling your furniture and like putting stuff into storage. Like,
Yeah.
no, you can make it manageable and fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's really great advice. Yeah. Well, it's been such an honor to talk to you. I've loved sharing your story, and there's so much more to it. So I definitely will put the links to all of your pages and sites in the description below. But yeah, I look forward to following your journey in Ghana, especially to the more natural settings, because that's something that I love too. But yeah, thank you very much.